Stardom 101. Stardom 101. Stardom 101.
Stardom 101.
It's the Stardom 101 Magazine Podcast. Shining light on today's tastemakers
and innovators.
Kicking it with your host, Christopher Boykin. It's the Stardom 101 Magazine Podcast.
It's Stardom 101 Magazine Podcast here back on iHeartRadio. Thank you guys once again for tuning into what we do. Y'all know what we do. We do this weekly. I got another episode for you guys. I got a goodie too. My guy, Durell Peart is here. Durell, what's going on, brother? How you feeling, man, on this good Sunday?
Hey, Christian, how you doing, man?
Blessed, brothers. You know how it goes. Sunday, we starting the week strong. We got you in the building, man. You know how this goes.
For sure.
Yes, sir. Double N Management and Marketing Group, LLC. Brother, the good people want to know, how did you even get into the music industry realm, that industry in general, before we go into more detail, but just a little background story of how you got into the game.
Interesting. That's a good question.
Mm-hmm.
Well, for me, it was simple. I'm from originally from Brooklyn, New York, but raised in Orlando, Florida.
Okay.
And I always say the entertainment business found me. I didn't find it.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually a part of a hip hop dance group back in 2004 because I was born with cerebral palsy.
Mm.
And my good friend, my brother Ian, was roommates with my best friend at the time. Our first year in college, and he invited me to go to the dance practices, and so we got hired to do the Battle of the Bands. So I don't know, people who might not know, but every November we have classic weekend down here in Orlando, where Florida A&M and Bethune-Cookman University play the football game.
Mm-hmm.
And so that Friday night, the Friday night before the game, they always do the high school Battle of the Bands competition or performance, whatever they want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
We got booked to do that year, 2004, and they actually incorporated me into the routine, and that's when I got bit by the entertainment bug. And I said,
wow.
I want to be in the entertainment business, but I knew I wanted to learn the business.
Okay.
So I was fortunate enough to meet my mentor, my big brother LaShawn, we call him TS, but he pretty much took me under his wing. I was 19, he was 24, and really kind of taught me the game at that time. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I got in, and then obviously over the years we started a company. Well, he had a company called Got What You Need Entertainment, which has now been rebranded to Got What You Need Network. But at the time, I had a company called Brothers for Life Music Group, which was my first quote unquote record label. Back in the day, everybody wanted to have a
record label. Yep.
Right. So he actually was the co-CEO with me, and really, he was really running it. He just was kind of putting me under his wing, kind of teaching me, because I just had an artist I knew that was talented that I wanted to work with, and he was kind of taking the lead, and so. We did that for about 3 years, and he kind of guided me as much as he could do for 3 years collectively here in Orlando. That he took a job with the Charlotte Bobcats at the time, and he moved to Raleigh, North Carolina. He said, "All right, little bro, you on your own. You got to go figure it out." So
yeah,
we were. Then I started managing this artist. I'll backtrack. When we had the company, we had like 7 artists and like 3 producers, so we had a whole roster.
Oh wow,
of talent back then here in Orlando. And so after that, everybody kind of disbanded it. Because the truth is, nobody really respected me, because I was really more of the young kid. I had a disability. Nobody was wanting to really listen to me. They thought, man, well, LaShawn's leaving, TS is leaving, so
we're done.
We're done. So there's only one cat that kind of stuck around, and either, at the time, he had really 2 choices: either you continue to do music, you trust me, you quit, or you just trust me. You trust Durell. So he essentially trusted me, and we started recording an album in 2008. It took us about 3 years to record it. Ended up being a product called Us Against the World. The artist's name is D. Cody, and we started working together. And then we put out the album independently via CD Baby at the time. Made a lot of mistakes. Obviously, knowing what I know now with my experience now, would have did things completely different. But so after that, him and I basically we parted ways in around 2012. Had a come to Jesus moment. Decided I wanted to go back and finish my degree at a school called Full Sail University.
Nice.
Well, I don't know if you may have heard of that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Out there in Florida, ain't it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Out here in Florida, yeah. So I ended up getting my degree from Full Sail University in entertainment business. I was valedictorian in my class. Advanced Achiever, won a bunch of awards there. So I knew that having a disability, it was going to be very hard for me to move, quote unquote, to an industry city.
I see.
There's only 5 real industry cities, right, in the States: L.A.,
New York,
Nashville, Miami, and Atlanta. And for various reasons, I couldn't really live in none of those cities. So it just kind of made sense for me to be in Orlando. So I said, okay, well, this time around, I'm gonna, instead of having a quote unquote record label, I want to make the focus about me. I love to manage talent, but I really wanted it to be more about how can I build my own brand.
I see.
So I started Double N Man. So the Double N stands for Encourage and Inspire.
Nice. And you do consulting work as well, too.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, tell me about your consulting work.
Yeah, so basically what I do with that is I just basically help new artists.
Okay.
Because my vision and mission where I make the most impact is helping new talent.
Nice.
I don't really delve into the top 1% because they don't really need me. There's so many artists out here who need education because education is the missing link.
I see.
For 98% of the independent artists in the marketplace, I would say where they lack the most is education. They just don't really know what to do. So for me, I've been doing this a long time. I've built a global network, including your magazine. I've been in like 19 magazines.
Wow.
sharing my story.
Yeah.
Having a disability and kind of just sharing my story. And the fact that I'm telling people, like, look, I'm not the most famous cat in the world, but
yeah,
I'm a genuine guy. I want to tell you the truth.
Sure.
And I have the network to back it up. I'm not going to make you famous. I don't promise the fame thing.
Of course.
What I do promise is, though, that if you do the work, you do what you say we're going to do, you have a chance to be successful because the music industry's changed. In fact, you don't need, as I always say this, you don't need the music industry to be successful in the music business. I see. As long as you understand the business of music.
Oh, nice. That's good, Durell. I like that. Yeah, that's good, bro. Jim, I like that.
Yeah, so that's a nutshell, man.
Okay.
Of kind of where we're at today. Of why I started Double N. But really, it's an overall brand, man. Encourage and inspire.
Nice.
It's kind of everything. I've kind of encompassed everything under that Encourage and Inspire brand.
Beautiful.
Because you can, it means way more than just. It's a way of life for me. It's about how you. Not only do I encourage my people both personally and professionally, but it's just the way I go about life, in every which possible way I possibly can.
Absolutely. And you wrote a book about this as well, too, man. Yeah, let's talk about that book. Yeah.
Yeah, the book is called More Than a Hobby, Encourage and Inspire More Than a Hobby. Why I chose to carve out my own unique path in the music industry. And it's really just it's my story in about 40 plus pages.
Okay.
The book actually was a part of a different project that did not come out. So what I did was I repurposed it, and they would kind of turn into what I turned it into. But I wrote it really for people who are like me in terms of wanting to be in the music industry, having a disability or special need, and there not really being any path to that. Because the truth of the matter is, this is a very hard industry to get into. And, and it's tough when you're limited. You can't go to, like I said before, you can't go to LA, go to New York, go to some of these places that people naturally go to, and sacrifice to make their dreams happen. That's why you don't see a lot of us, like people like me in the industry.
Ah, that's good.
What I'm saying? I've had to create most opportunities I've created it.
I see. Do you help in the book as well too? Is the book available on what platform so we can make sure we support that book as well?
Well, the book I have it on Gumroad, which is an independent platform, which I'll send the link. The reason why I put it on Gumroad is because you can name your own. Well, the book is available for $9.99, but you can actually name your own price. Meaning, if you wanted to support the book by paying more than $9.99, you can.
Nice.
And that's why I did it that way. Also, I have a promotional video called Behind the Ebook that I think is attached to the book as well. Really just kind of share like my inspiration for the book and kind of touching on some specific things in the book that I wanted to provide some more insight on. So so the promo video, I'm really proud of that too.
That's what's up.
And March 8th, it'll be a year. I released it last year, March 8th.
Oh wow! So we still we still can promote that. It's still relevant.
Yeah,
man. Why is it important to learn? This is for the artists. I got a lot of artists tapping in for this episode right now because I kind of put it out. Why is it important for them to learn how to build a core audience as an independent artist? Like you said earlier, you alluded to, most don't have that machine behind them. But so a lot of it is grassroots. You got to build your own entity, your own brand, but they probably don't know how to do it. So why is it important for them to build that core audience? And can you give them a couple of tips or suggestions on basics of how to do that?
Yeah, well, it's important because honestly, it's the only really way you can create sustainability as a new artist today. Because the truth of the matter is, most artists are not going to be signed to a label. We're not going to have that backing behind them. So you have to find the people that want to support you, right? So many artists got to realize that there's a difference between fans versus supporters.
I see.
And my goal is to show you how to take somebody who's an interested fan and convert them into a supporter. And you do that, and I'll give you a quick gem, something what it calls a brand positioning statement, right? So the brand positioning statement, because as an artist, you're a brand, right? So there's three elements. There's three elements of the brand positioning statement: the community you want to serve, who you are, and why should somebody care? Nice. Because once you figure out what that brand positioning statement is, then you know simply what your competitive advantage is. I mean, we live in an attention. Attention is the new currency now. Oh yeah. Right? So in this social media era, so there's so much stuff being thrown at you, but if you can figure out what sets you apart from everybody else, even in the community that you want to serve, right? If you can figure out what sets you apart and really build your brand, and as what I like to say, you become a problem solver for those particular people in that community. You then stand out to them, and eventually, if you keep providing value, ultimately they're going to want to figure out, oh, you keep providing value to me. How can I support you? How can I support you back?
That's good. You said he alluded. I like that because we definitely in the social media area, right? So the music is definitely different than back in the day. They had the vinyl, CDs, and now we got influencer, right? We got content creator, right? So it's important to know what you do with social media, not let social media use you.
And that's the difference. I tell people all the time, you're no longer a recording artist. That does not exist in today's world.
Wow.
The term recording artist is an old industry term because now you have to. And the reason why I say that is because you have to have content around everything you do. Nobody can release an album, any kind of album, any kind of even a single. We're in a single driven ecosystem right now, and nobody can put anything out without some kind of content strategy behind it. It is impossible. If you think you're going to be successful in today's music industry without thinking you don't have to do content, you're absolutely crazy. It's just not going to work. Now, you do have artists, and I was listening to this one guy the other day. His name is Nick D. His model is a little bit different. He's not trying to tour. You know, his model is he really makes money off streaming. So what he does is he builds catalogs, or he releases songs every week.
Wow.
His whole promise is he's trying to build up streams over time versus trying to get one massive hit. So he knows every song he releases isn't going to necessarily hit, but over time, as he puts it out, it'll build success. And what he does is he thinks about the content piece first before he writes the song, because for him it's about a business.
I see.
Unfortunately, most artists don't think that way, but he's thinking, let me think about the piece of content I want to make, then let me create the song around that content, which makes it much easier to make content to promote. So he's kind of thinking the long game of, I'm just going to keep releasing, because I mean that's really feeding the algorithm. So again, I think there's no one right way to do it.
I see.
Depending on who you're working with. Like I got a guy I'm working with now. His name is Jimmy Mack. He's an older cat.
Mm-hmm.
He's in his 50s. Because by the way, there's no more ages.
No more age barriers. Yeah, let's speak about that, Durell. I think that's good, brother. Let's tap on that. Age barriers. What do you think? That is that even a factor right now? You know, can you from your perspective?
The internet's changed all of that. The age. You know why the age used to be a thing? Because major record companies, they wanted to sell youth, because back then you could waste albums on artists. So the younger you are, the more time they could put into you. And if the first album didn't hit, and if you get signed at 18 or 19. And the first album didn't hit at 19, but the second album comes out 3-4 years later. You're still kind of young at 24,
and they can still target that market.
Right. First, but people don't realize Jay-Z his first Read It Without didn't come out. He was 28 years old.
Wow, matured, seasoned.
People don't realize that, but unfortunately, in hip hop specifically, it's the only genre of music that ages you. So somehow, if you're over the age of 50, you can't rap anymore. Or why are you rapping at 50? We don't do that in any other genre of music. We don't.
Nope. Rock, especially rock, anything like that. Yeah.
Right. Tony Bennett was 90 years old.
Insane. And we still supported him.
So why do we? Well, here's what we don't realize this too. Hip hop is still a young genre.
Yes, it is.
It's only 50. So the elder statesman in hip hop, let's say Curtis Blow is 65, 66, 67. Melly Mel, these guys are still, in their late 60s or early 70s. So because it's a young genre. But again, it's the only genre that we do that. We age you out.
Wow.
And we don't do that in any other genre. No other genre does it.
Yeah.
No other, and I don't know why we do that. And what I try to tell people is that what you have to do, though, is obviously if you're 50, you're not going to be able. The kids, you shouldn't be trying to target 20-something-year-olds.
I see.
If you're in your 50s and you're in your early 50s, and let's say you're like, for instance, the artist I'm talking about, my client, my friend Jimmy Mack, he is more of the boom bap type of act, so he's going to attract a different type of audience. So his audience may not be all over TikTok.
I see.
Right?
I see.
So we may take a different approach with him, because of who you're trying to target. So as long as you know who your audience is and the message that you're trying to get across to your audience, the age does not matter. It's actually made it much easier. The internet's made it way more easier to make records as an older artist than ever before, because the record companies, really they don't have as much control. And it's, it depends on who you talk to, man. Look, there's differing of opinions, man. I mean, if it really, everybody has their own opinion.
That's true.
There's nobody that's right or wrong. It's a difference of opinion, and if you can support your argument, then you can support your argument, because everybody's not going to agree.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, some people will still tell you that you need a label, right? Some people will tell you that. But what I realized too, some artists just don't. A label system just doesn't work for them, and they may be doing music or something that's too abstract. If a commercial record label is used to recording and putting out commercial music, and if you don't do anything that's commercial, they're not going to know what to do with you.
No benefit.
because they put out commercial music. If you make stuff that's super niche and non-commercial, they're not going to know what to do, because all they're going to do is put gasoline on what you've already started.
Correct.
That's what they're going to do.
Yeah.
Is if you're popping off TikTok, they're just going to take you and take what you've already done, and now they're going to put corporate dollars, which means you have to split your revenues and profits with them. Which means if you were doing pretty successful independently, you now have to do double of what you could. You're having to cut them into your
pie. Yep. What about your services, Durell? Do you have any services?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, so I do. So right now, what I've been promoting is what I call my music exposure campaign, and what that is what I call my offer to bring people into my world. I use it as a lead generator, basically. So it's actually part of my program that costs about $3,000, $4,000. What I've done is I've broken that down into little smaller pieces that people can purchase a la carte to come to my world, build a relationship with me, and ultimately see the value that I can bring to them. And through that, hopefully do some coaching. Because really what I am, I'm a teacher, I'm an educator, I'm a facilitator. That's really what I love to do. But, sometimes when you talk to people about what my retainer costs, and, artists, they get finicky when you start talking different numbers that they're not used to.
Sure.
So, but if I can come at you with a number that's affordable, then I think you could. If you don't want to spend $200 in this business, you just need to get out.
What's the best way for them to do business with you or follow up? What's the best contact, Durell? Final question for you. What's the best contact for them to follow up with your brother and for a free concert or your process of just getting in contact with you?
Yeah, the best way is to just you can hit me up on social media at Durell Peart. You know what I'm saying? Or you can text me at textdurell.com. At textdurell.com, textdurell.com. But if you're interested in the campaign, the best way to do that is to hit me up on social media, on Instagram primarily. Just hit me there. And if you want to find more information about how to help you build your core audience and how I use that whole process to do that, that's usually the best way to contact me is through my socials, and then we kind of go after that.
There we go. It's Durell Peart, ladies and gentlemen, Double N Management Marketing Group, LLC. This man has already gave y'all some gems because I already wrote it down. So I know my artist is tapping in. Look, you already schooled me. So I'm like, yeah, he got it. So look, if you're ready, artists, if you're ready to get it started, if you're ready to get into the music businesses, the marketing aspects, the royalty, the campaigns, everything, the publishing, you want to know what you're doing, how to make this a business, this is the man to see. Y'all hear me right now? This is the man to see. Plug in with him. He's out there doing amazing things. Support this brother as he continues to educate, because he's really about educating and consulting and want the best for you. That's what I heard today. He want the best for you. So how can you not want the best for him? And that's a beautiful relationship. Durell, I appreciate it, brother. Thank you so much, man.
Hey, man, thank you for having me. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of your magazine. First and foremost, before this podcast, to share my story, and now to get a chance to come on the podcast and talk to the people again. I really appreciate your time. Thank you.
Absolutely, man. Giving a voice to the people. It's Stardom101 Magazine. This episode is Music Matters. My guy, Durell, fit it perfectly, Durell Peart. And once again, tapping into us next week. Y'all know what we do. We educate. We provide opportunities for the people to speak. It's Stardom101 Magazine. We appreciate y'all. Until next time, peace.
Peace.
Are you on the rise to stardom? Well, get featured in the next issue of Stardom101 Magazine and promote your business or products today. Text MAG to 804-550-8647 or visit stardom101mag.net.
You're listening to the Stardom101 Magazine Podcast with Christopher Boykin. Be sure to subscribe and download this episode, and continue to listen to Stardom on iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts.